Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, welcome back to my Vlogtober series. This is day 20. Honestly, yesterday, I truly contemplated not putting out a video and skipping, but we're making it through. I'm keeping my promise to myself. And so I'm back today with a very special video. I feel like this topic today is really important to me, and hopefully that translates in this video. Yeah, I'm back. I had to connect my microphone really quick because I forgot, like, when I do these sit down videos, it's good to like have my mic so you guys can hear me better. But we are back. So like I was saying, I wanted to do a video on self-care today simply because I love self-care. I feel like it is a trending topic at all times, as it rightfully should be. That it's very important. I think self-care is important year-round, but especially now during the like cooler months, and especially when it gets into like full-blown winter, I think it absolutely needs to be done on a consistent basis to avoid burnout and to avoid depression. I don't know if the person viewing this video, so that's you, I don't know if you're viewing this video as someone that is trying to get into self-care for the first time, or you are inconsistent and just need a little bit of motivation, or you're like a self-care queen and you're like, yes, I'm here for it. Whichever one you are, this video is going to be helpful, I believe, and so I'm just gonna jump right into it. So self-care, for those of you that don't know, I actually like looked up the definition. It says self-care is the practice of making choices and taking actions that improve and prioritize your physical and mental health. Now that one has just two buckets, physical and mental. Later on in this video we'll talk a little bit more of the like sections of self-care, but that's like the two main ones that people usually talk about. So I feel like when people think of self-care, they think of like face masks and like going to like a spa or candles and stuff like that, and that is definitely a form of self-care, but there's like so much more to self-care that you might not even know about. So first of all, self-care looks different for each person, right? So I think the first thing that you need to do when thinking about self-care is like, what does self-care mean to you? Like, does that definition that I just read align with what self-care is for you, or is it slightly different? Is it not really so much like mental health, or more so like thinking of like spiritual health or something like that? So definitely spend some time, think of like what your definition of self-care is, and then write it down. Like, I am such a like stickler for like writing things down. Like I said, I'll write things down, I'll put them in my journal, I'll put them on a post-it, I will create some type of like collage or visual and stick it by my bed, stick it by the door, stick it somewhere where I can see it and constantly like go back to it and reflect on it, and just have it at the front of your mind, right? So write down what self-care means to you so that you're not just being swayed by every person's opinion of self-care, and you have your own influence. So what are the categories or the buckets of self-care? When doing my research, I saw that there were actually like between like 5 to 8 sections or groups of self-care, or like headings basically, that people can like group self-care into. I just kind of picked up 5, but if you like Google, you'll see that people break them down in different ways. So I'm going to be today talking about like some options and some things that you can do from each of these sections. So mental, physical, emotional, social, and spiritual, of course. So, and not in any particular like ranking or order, they're all equally as important to me. So the first one, mental. So you have to take care of your mental health. I think everyone knows that at this point. If you're like not living under a rock, like, you know, you have to take care of your mental health. It's such an important aspect of life. If you live in New York, you'll see like there's so many people out and about that are like struggling mentally, people with like all of these like problems. You see them on the trains, you see them in the train stations, like just walking the streets, right? People are struggling with their mental health. So if you are in a sane, you're in your right frame of mind, first of all, thank God for that. I try to like remember to pray and thank God about that every single day, because I like, it's not anyone, it can happen to anyone, right? And especially like living, if, depending on where you live, if you live in like a high stress city, or you you know, at a high stress job, like it's so many things that can contribute to like people not being in their right frame of mind. And so if you are, thank God for it, right? So mental health, some of the things that you can do to help your mental health and like show your brain and your mind self-care is, number one, maybe you guessed it, reading, right? So I originally started my YouTube page to be a book review, like a booktube basically, and I'm still definitely going to be doing book reviews for as long as possible, because I'm like a true reader. But reading really helps, like, first of all, helps you learn new words. It helps you like focus your attention. It provides like joy and fun, right? You get a time to like detach from the things that's going on in your world and kind of dive into like an alternative world or like an alternative reality. And I just think like reading is so fun. And you don't have, there's so many options of things to read. Like, I kind of focus more so on like one alleyway of reading, but there's so many other things. You can also read nonfiction, right? Learn facts about things. So don't feel like, oh, reading is so boring. Like, explore reading, please. Especially because social media has absolutely ruined people's like brains and attention spans. Like, I've had people tell me like, oh, I can't watch a video that's longer than 30 seconds or like a minute, or by the time it gets to like 2 minutes I'm checked out. And like, that's not okay. Like, that's not something that you should be like proud of. And I'm not like judging anyone or condemning anyone, but like, that's not how our attention span is supposed to be. That's not ideal. So if that's something that you're struggling with, like, I don't want to say like you need to fix yourself, but like, that's just something to pay attention to. Like, wow, I literally can't sit still for this amount of time and watch something without needing to like switch to something else, or like, oh, that just lost my attention, like now I need to, you know, like, check in with that. So I think reading definitely helps. Puzzles, right? I wouldn't say recently, I would say like within the last year I've bought like one puzzle, and I haven't finished it because of course like puzzles take a long time, but they help you. They give you like again time to detach from the stuff that's going on in your brain and kind of focus in somewhere else. It doesn't have to be like physical puzzles with pieces. You can do like crossword puzzles, you can do word search puzzles. You can do what's it called, like Sudoku or whatever, however you want to pronounce it. All of those things help stimulate your brain in ways that social media can't, or your phone can't, or the TV can't. It's like problem solving. And so definitely look into those things to help build, like, show your brain, your mental health some self-care. And the last one in that I would say is like learn a new skill, right? So it can be like, maybe you want to learn how to do pottery, maybe you want to learn how to paint, maybe you want to learn how to make sculptures, do floral arranging, do something besides scrolling on your phone all day long. Okay, that's actually 3 ways to show your mental health some self-care. Next bucket is physical self-care. Now, physical self-care I feel like gets a lot of like attention because it's like people know a lot about that, so they have like all of these options. So I'm just going to quickly go through a list of some of the ways that you can show your physical self some self-care. So first of all, obvious, working out, right? Or walking. I talk about walking all the time. I've probably spoken about it in multiple videos at this point. If you cannot run, if you cannot go do some crazy HIIT exercise, if you don't have a gym membership, walk, go outside, set a timer. Maybe I want to walk 15 minutes. Maybe I want to walk 30 minutes. Maybe I want to walk an hour. Maybe I want to walk to 10,000 steps, maybe 20,000 steps. Something physical to get your body going is a great way to show yourself self-care. Sleep, right? I put sleep, rest, rut. I feel like Today I truly did not feel my best. I'm actually like still kind of going through a range of emotions right now. And so this morning, it's a Sunday. I decided like I'm gonna stay in. I usually go to church on Sundays. I'm gonna stay in. I'm gonna watch a sermon on my TV. I'm going to just rest. I woke up at a certain time, got up, and I was like, you know what? I think I want to go back. And then I went back to bed, and I just gave my body time to rest, especially like if you're a 9 to 5 girl or guy, like you're going, and then the weekend is just like 2 days, and many times it's not enough. So like if you need to rest, take like I know previously I said like don't spend your entire days like scrolling on your phone, but like if it's something that you truly need to do like once in a while, I'm okay with that because that's giving your brain and your body just time to like truly just relax, detach, and rot. Okay, I'm fine with that. You can do spa related things at home for self-care, or you can go to an actual spa, right? So everyone knows like the face masks. If you want to do like the under eye patches, you can do like teeth whitening at home. You can give yourself like a hand mask. You can do like feet masks. There's so many things available to you that you can do at home. And it doesn't have to be expensive. Like Amazon has all the things that you need. TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Target, they have all of these like little self-care things. So if you don't have anything right now, take a quick trip, get something affordable, and show yourself some love at home. And if you really want to take it up a notch, book yourself a massage, book yourself a spa day. Like go do those things to show yourself, your physical self, some self-care. And of course, taking your vitamins and supplements. I talked about this in my vitamins and supplements vlog. It's important. Don't slack on it. You might miss like a day or two because you're in a funk. Like, listen, it happens to the best of us. It has happened to me already this month. So don't beat yourself up for it, but just consistently try to like, okay, I missed yesterday. Let me put in an extra effort, take my vitamins, take my supplements. And the last thing to show yourself self-care physically is to cook healthy meals. Like, or at least try to cook healthy meals. I feel like a lot of people are just like, yo, I'm spending so much money eating out, oh, I haven't been eating right. Like, make a plan for it and try to feed yourself healthy meals. There's so many recipes on Pinterest, on Google. There's so many books out there that are available to meet your specific diet and the things that you like. So look into it and show your physical self some self-care. Third bucket is emotional self-care. So the first one on this list is of course journaling. Hold on, do I need to sneeze? Okay, no, I'm good. The third one is journaling for your emotional self-care. I actually did need to sneeze. I felt it, and I'm gonna leave that in there because this video is not about perfection. We are all human, okay, people? Make sure you say bless you when you watch that. Anyway, so the first thing that you can do for your emotional self-care is journaling. Listen, I'm like, just name me journaling queen, okay? Name me journaling queen, name me supplements and vitamins queen, name me reading queen, name me walking queen. I'll take all of it. Journaling will help you. Like I said, you don't need to spend hours writing out all of your feelings unless that's your vibe, right? But you can spend some time looking like on Pinterest because they have like 5-minute prompts, like one question that you spend 5-10 minutes writing out, and you can do that once per day, and eventually it just like builds up, and then before you know it, you're like a full-blown like journaler. That's a real word. Journalist. And then it's like just a part of your routine. I think even for me now, I've been consistently journaling for at least like 2 years. And I feel like there's sometimes when I just don't want to like journal a lot, and I'll write a couple sentences of like, oh, this was good today, or this blah, blah, blah. This is how I'm feeling. Don't really have much to say. That's it. And it's like a couple lines, but it's still good to like keep flexing that muscle and keep building up the habits. The next thing I will say is color or paint, right? That's good for your emotional, like that's a good way to show your emotional self-care. I recently went to a professional development like it wasn't really a conference. It was just I took a day and I went to a professional development like session, and we talked about a whole lot, which I still need to tell y'all about. But in between the sessions, they gave us like these coloring pages and coloring pencils, and I didn't really do any at the time, but I took them home because I just feel like that's such a good, we're talking about like really heavy topics, and so the lady was like very aware of like that can be really stressful for people, and so in between maybe you might want to just detach and just color. It's a good way to just like clear your mind. You can play like some soft music in the background, and just, you know, exercise your creative vibe as well, right? So it's helping your like emotional well-being. You can also do therapy, right? That's like standard basic, like super clear on how to take care of your emotional self. Or and this is something that I personally want to work on, connecting with yourself, right? And having like solo dates. I probably have had in my whole life, I could probably count on one hand the number of times that I've taken myself out on a date to be by myself. Like, I want to say it's not even five. Like, I need to do better at this as well. Just taking myself out on solo dates. Like, I'm feeling a little bit disconnected from myself. I'm feeling like I need to pour into myself. I'm gonna go do X, Y, and Z. Granted, I do a lot of like little things here and there to like bring myself joy, but like to say like I'm gonna go intentionally and spend like this whole day with myself, I'm gonna detach from other people, I'm gonna just tune in with how I'm feeling, or like if I'm feeling sad or down, like why exactly am I feeling this way? And people are not spending enough time, and when I say people, I'm also talking about myself. People are not spending enough time with themselves to really see how they're feeling, see what they need in the moment, what they're not getting enough of. It's just like, connect with yourself, plan a couple solo dates. It doesn't have to be anything expensive. It doesn't have to be like going to a restaurant and spending money. There's a lot of free things that you can do that can help you connect with yourself. It also can be like at home. Like, you can be like, oh, I'm gonna turn my phone off today and I'm just gonna sit with myself and lock in and connect, you know? So connecting with yourself, that's another way of showing self-care to your emotional well-being. Okay, we're at number 4. Okay, thank you guys for just being patient and hanging out with me. I hope this has been informative so far. We have 2 more and then we are done. So the 4th bucket is like social self-care, and I actually only have like 2 things in this category. So maybe if you're watching this and you have some more options, definitely comment them below, because like I said, this self-care video is also for me, and things that I need to work on. So I said a way to help with your a way to show your social self-care is to meet up with your friends and family, right? I think especially as we get into the colder months, people don't want to go outside. People don't want to, they want to like get to work and then go back home so that they can be warm and toasty and that they can just doom scroll on social media, right? So making time to be with friends and family it's tougher, it's more of a challenge, but I think it's something that you should pay attention to, because then we just keep getting ourselves like more and more closed off, and then by the time it gets to like January, February, when it's like really cold, you're like, wow, I'm actually like so depressed and I haven't seen my friends in like forever. Again, this is me talking to myself. I mean, I feel like I don't really have that many friends. So this is like a different topic for me, but I'm speaking to you in this one. Make some time to connect with your friends and family. It can also just be like virtual stuff, right? During the pandemic, I attended a virtual bridal shower, a virtual birthday party, a virtual what's that thing called when you have to figure out who is the killer, when you have to like have all these clues. It's like blanking right now. I've attended a virtual happy hour. I've attended all of those things. So it's things that can be done if people are, like if your friends and family are far away and it's like you want to connect somehow. It helps. It might not be the same exact feeling that you'd get of like getting a hug or being in person and laughing and belly laughing with someone, but you leave those types of interactions feeling so much better. And again, I'm talking to myself because I am just like, I have PTSD from being on Zoom and being like a teacher during the pandemic. It's different. My remote learning teachers know exactly what I'm talking about. So yeah. And something else that you can do for your self-care, for your social self-care that's looped into that is don't talk to friends and family, right? Like I feel like a lot of people feel like they're so entitled to like your time, your energy, like, oh, I'm gonna call you randomly, oh, I'm gonna pop by randomly, oh, like it's a Saturday, like let me call this person and see what they're doing. No, like this is my own personal time. I had a hectic week, and Saturday and Sundays are my time to rut, are my time to like kind of check in with myself, see how I'm feeling, do some self-care for myself. You don't owe people your time and energy, especially on the weekends. Like, okay, during the week you might owe people your time and energy because we have to work and we have jobs, but like on the weekend when it's your own personal time, if social self-care is you not talking to someone, I think that is also valid, right? So it's looped into social, but it's not really social, but you know what I mean. Okay, and the last bucket on my list, but I would argue is the most important one, is your spiritual self-care. So here are some ways that you can like show yourself self-care in the spiritual realm. So first of all, pray, right? I know that praying is very challenging for some people. Praying can sometimes be challenging for me, especially if I feel like I've been kind of saying the same versions of the same prayer every single time. Then I'm like, okay, I don't want to like waste time to like keep repeating the same prayers. Or sometimes it's just like you don't really know what to pray for because like your thoughts are like all over the place. So praying can be tricky. But a good old Our Father prayer always is like, that was told to us in the Bible of like the ideal way to pray. So you can do like that. Sometimes I've heard of people like writing out their prayers instead of like verbally like speaking it. Or just like listening to guided prayers. So on YouTube and on like I believe the podcast app or the music app, there's like people that have created prayers that they just say and you can repeat them to yourself if you can't think of the ways or the things that you want to say. I recommend highly to explore one of those options if you can't like get the words to pray for yourself. Go to church, right? Definitely. It's tricky to go to church when it's freezing out and you just wanna, your phone is alarming and you're like, oh, like I wanna just sleep, especially like if it's like snowing. Like if you're like like if you go to church constantly like year round, once it starts getting to like those winter months, the attendance in church is so low. It's like so low. But I get it. Like people don't, especially if you don't have a car and you have to like travel to work, it's rough. I mean, I said work. Travel to church, it's rough. But I really, really, really want to encourage you. That's a great way to show your spiritual self some self-care. And many times, like, you don't want to go. And then when you make it to church, the worship, the word, just like seeing other like-minded believers and maybe someone might say something to you and you're just like, wow, I needed to hear that. It just always works out that way because we know how God works, right? Number 3, showing yourself self-care, consuming Christian content. So like podcasts or like listening to sermons or listening to music. I personally feel like there's many times when I'm just like kind of in a funk or kind of in a funk or I'm just like not feeling my best self. And then I'll listen to a sermon or I'll listen to some music and, or I will, just feed myself something uplifting, and then a few hours later or like by the end of the day I'm like, I'm glad I started my morning that way because my day ended up being like really good. And then the last thing I will say is going on a nature walk. So there has to be some sort of research out there that says that like connecting with nature is like a really good way to like reflect on like God's creations and like his power and just like how creative and amazing he is. Like especially now in the fall when you're like walking through the park or walking through like a really nice neighborhood, you see like all the trees and all the colors and you see like the birds and the squirrels and the animals walking like flying around or whatever, and it helps you. You're like, it helps you take a step back to be like, wow, like this is amazing, you know. And then sometimes I've heard people go on like a prayer walk. So like you started off walking just because, and then all of a sudden, like, you know, like you start thinking of things and things come to your brain, and then now you want to like, you know, you want to pray or not, right? Just walking and appreciating God's creation is also a good way to pour into your spiritual well-being. I know I said a lot, right? But these are things that I've been thinking about. I don't know if I heard something or it just dropped into my spirit to talk about self-care. But self-care, like I said in the beginning, is so, so, so important. And I wanted to come on and share some practical ways that you can start incorporating self-care into your life. Most of these are like things that I do or want to do more of. So like I said, I'm not just putting stuff out there as like, I know I'm the self-care queen, I know it all. I still have things that I need to work on, of course. So like I said, drop some comments down below if you have something that you do for self-care that you're like, this has been great for me and I want to share it with someone. I know I would really appreciate that, and my viewers would really appreciate that. But yeah, I wanted to share. I wanted to check in with you. I want you guys actually to check in with yourself to see how you're feeling in this moment after hearing all those ideas and all those thoughts about self-care. Is there a specific category that you're doing really well in, or another one that you're not doing that well in and you want to do better? Like all those things, you need to check in with yourself to see where to go from here, right? And then if this video was helpful, I'm assuming that people are already thinking of, okay, what is like one thing I can do today or one thing I can do in the coming week to help me with my self-care. Drop it in the comment if it's not too personal, because I would love to hear it and encourage you and give you some support. Bye.